Do you like my apron? I love it, and I made it, except this pocket is a little bit high. How many eggs do you think I could fit in here? I'm like a kangaroo. Let's go! Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are making brioche burger buns. They're buttery and soft and delicious, and I am so excited to eat them. Let's go. So brioche is an enriched dough, so we're using milk and butter and eggs to make them super buttery and delicious. Now I'm gonna get started. I've got some warm milk here, and I'm just gonna put 2/3 of it into my stand mixer bowl. And I'm just gonna eyeball my 2/3. That'll do. Then I've got 70 grams of caster sugar, but you could use any sugar. And the sugar helps bring the yeast to life. So the yeast eats the sugar and it gets nice and fermenty. And then I've got 1 teaspoon of yeast here, which I'm just gonna sprinkle over the top. And we're not gonna stir it, we're just gonna leave the yeast sitting on the top for about 10 minutes until it starts to bubble. So we're gonna pop it to the side just here. And then I'm gonna take our last third of milk that I've got here and add in about a big heaped tablespoon of my flour. That'll do. And then I've got 50 mils of water that's going in here. Now we're gonna stir this together, and the idea here is we're gonna make a bit of a paste. So we're gonna heat our paste. I'm just gonna do it in the microwave, but you could also do this in a pan over a really gentle heat. And we're gonna heat it until this thickens into a paste. Then we're gonna add the paste back into our buns later on, and it's gonna help our buns stay really nice and moist and prevent them from drying out. Pretty clever. So I'm gonna put this into the microwave for about 30 seconds at a time. Each time I take it out, I'm gonna mix it until it becomes a nice thick paste. Now, give it a little stir. So this has ended up being in for a minute, so 2 lots of 30 seconds, and I've got a really nice thick paste here, and I'm just gonna mix it to get any lumps out. And then we're just gonna leave our paste to the side to cool down while we move back onto our lovely yeasty mixture, which is lovely and bubbly now. And it's enjoyed eating some of that sugar in that lovely warm milk. Next, I'm gonna add in 1 whole egg and 1 egg yolk, and we're just gonna pop it straight in. Don't throw away your egg white because we're going to use it to brush the top of our buns. Then I've got 2 teaspoons of salt going straight in. And we'll give this a little whisk together with a fork. They're going to have such a beautiful color. Then we're going to plonk in all of our plain flour. And this is gonna go into our stand mixer, and we're gonna knead it on a really nice low speed for about 10 minutes. You absolutely can do this by hand. It's very sticky doing brioche dough by hand, but just keep going, don't add any more flour, and it will eventually stop being sticky. Let's go, Kenny. I actually love watching dough because it like changes so dramatically. It goes from like being almost like crumbly, then it's all sticky, and then beautifully smooth. Oh, that's the wrong way. That'll do. Right, so our doughs will come together. You can see it's not super smooth at this point, but we want to add in our lovely paste that we created. So we're just going to plop this straight in. And then I've got some butter that's at room temperature that we're going to add really slowly. So we're going to let our paste fully incorporate and then slowly add our chunks of butter until it's all smooth and lovely and beautiful. Time to get working again. At this point, I always think I've ruined it and it's a big sloppy mess, especially when you start to add the butter and it's just like slip and sliding in there, but just keep going, it's gonna be beautiful. A bit more butter. It's just sitting on the side. There you go. Help you in. Looking good. So your dough will still look a little bit sticky, but it will start to clean the top of the bowl, which means it's ready. And you can see here it's lovely and smooth. And if you touch it, it doesn't stick to your fingers, which is great. And it just looks so lovely and silky. So I'm just gonna scrape with my fingers the dough off the hook. Then I'm just gonna take my bowl out and I'm just gonna kind of plonk it all down so it's in one nice ball. And then we're gonna cover this in some Glad wrap. And we want to make sure it's really nice and tight. We don't want any air going in here. And you're going to pop this somewhere warm for about half an hour until it's really lovely and risen. I'm going to pop it in my airing cupboard. See you then. I've got my dough back and you can even see that it's alive and fermenting because our Glad wrap's got a little dome here on it. Right, let's open it up and have a look. Oh yeah. Look how lovely and smooth it looks. Right, I'm gonna flop this straight onto my surface. Ooh. Oh, this dough looks beautiful. Now I'm just gonna kind of give it a little fold over just to knock out some of that air. And I'm not gonna use any flour on my surface here because I want my buns to stay really nice and moist. So if you find it sticking, you can grease your hands or your surface a little bit with oil. A little spray oil is quite handy. Just give it a little spray, and I'm gonna give my scales a little spray too. And I'm gonna cut this into 12 buns. So I'm gonna go for about 105 grams, and yes, I'm gonna weigh them because I want them to be perfect. And the easiest way to break bits off is using this little bench scraper. They look so good. And then we're gonna weigh our bits of dough. Perfect. Right, I'm gonna weigh them all and then we're gonna roll them all into nice little balls. We feel that vibe all night. Right, now I've portioned all my dough and I'm gonna shape them into little balls. So I'm gonna kind of fold them in on themselves. So kind of tuck the bottoms under, and then I like scoopy them in my hands and roll them into a nice little ball, just like this. And then they go onto my tray that I've just lined with some baking paper.
You know what I mean?
And our last one, they're so cute and they just feel so nice. Now these are gonna go back to rise for another 30 minutes and I'm gonna cover them with Glad wrap, but I'm gonna give a little spray, a tiny spray of oil on the top just to stop the Glad wrap from sticking. If you don't have spray oil, just rub a bit of oil on the Glad wrap to stop it from sticking. Then we will cover them up. And these are gonna go back in your nice warm spot for 30 minutes. My buns have been proving away nicely in my airing cupboard for 30 minutes, and I've preheated my oven to 180 degrees on fan bake or 200 degrees on regular bake, and they look so nice and lovely and round and jiggly. If you live somewhere cold, you might leave them out to rise for about an hour as well, because you want them to be really nice and full and have a nice jiggle on them. Then I've just taken the egg white that we had left over from earlier and added a tablespoon of milk, and we're just gonna brush the outside of our buns.
You like that?
Perfect. Now, these are gonna bake for about 20 minutes or until they're lovely and golden brown on top. These look and smell amazing. They've just come out of the oven. They are lovely and golden brown, and if you really carefully give them a tap on the bottom, they should sound nice and hollow, and you know that they're ready. I'm gonna brush them with butter. This is a little extra, you don't have to do it, but it just adds a lovely shine to the outside. So just got about a tablespoon of melted butter that I'm just gonna brush all over the top of them.
So tonight, I'm just gonna let this one ride. You know what I mean?
I love how shiny the butter makes them. Now we'll just leave these to cool down and then we'll come back to cut one open. Ooh, so excited. It's the best part. It's taste test time. And I'm just gonna rip one right open because they just look so good. Look at how light and fluffy they are. I'm so excited. This is like the best bun just to eat by itself. It tastes like a croissant. It's so yummy and buttery. The butter just makes such lovely layers in there. It's so good. I hope you get a chance to make this recipe yourselves. If you head over to my Instagram, I'm gonna show you some really yum fillings to go inside these burger buns. Have a great rest of your day. See ya!